Morning, Cam.
Good day, Mitch. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
It's been a week. Been a busy week. Been a busy couple of weeks, actually. And I'm beat, but I'm trying on some new coffee stuff that got me feeling pretty good this morning. I just hope I don't crash in the middle of the episode.
Well, that would be entertaining for me, but probably not. Probably not our listeners, because I could see it happening.
Have you seen like the coffee concentrates?
That seems like it'd be a bad idea.
So Javi makes one, and Jot is the other company that makes what Javi calls it microdose coffee. And so I'll get to how you actually drink this stuff. You know, it's not what it sounds like. So, and then Jot makes a couple of different versions of it. I haven't really looked into Javi's yet. I might, because it's a little bit less expensive. But you buy this little bottle of coffee concentrate, and it's 20 times concentrated. So what no, you're giving me the big bug eyes. No, you don't drink a whole bottle at once.
I know, but that just seems a bit excessive.
So here's how you drink it. You dilute it.
Yeah.
You don't drink it, because I put just a little bit of it on my tongue yesterday, and I just about died. It was terrible. But you take and you dilute it into whatever you want to make from it. So with the Jot stuff, at least, you take a tablespoon of the coffee and you mix it in with, if you want it cold, if you do want to do a cold brew, you mix it in with 6 ounces of water and ice. Or if you want to do like an iced latte, you mix it in with 6 ounces of milk. And if you want it hot, you do 8 ounces of water or milk, depending on if you want to do a latte or if you just want a black cup of coffee. I will tell you from my experience, I do not like the original flavor. They've got 2 different flavors, basically, original and dark. The dark I do like. It's not bad. It's a little different drinking it like this, because I believe they brew it in a cold, like a cold brew type, so the coffee just tastes different. The original is more of a Central American coffee that is very citrusy and vibrant, and it's just not my cup of tea. We've talked about not my cup of tea, not my cup of coffee. And we've talked about that on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to like it a little bit more earthy, a little bit like Indonesian coffee. The dark is roasted from Colombian and Sumatra. So you get a kind of a blend of the two. So it is a little bit more earthy, and it tastes better as a dark. I've had a little bit of it this morning, and I'm feeling pretty good. And I'm awake. So it should be an interesting show today. So hopefully I won't crash on you in the middle of the show. So, but good stuff. I've just tried it the last couple of days, and I like it. It makes it a little bit easier and more convenient to make the coffee in the morning, because the coffee is already made. But I've also dived into a little bit of making my own concentrate, which is unfortunately is very heavy on grounds. I have a feeling that it's not going to be something that I can sustain, because it's going to start getting expensive for me to make it. But it doesn't concentrate as much either, because in my opinion, you don't want to use a lot of heat to concentrate this stuff, because you lose a lot of flavor with heating it up. So hopefully, what I can do is just kind of massage my technique a little bit and make a decent concentrate that I can at least make a good cold brew out of.
Yeah, we made our cold brew from concentrate at the coffee shop. It was just a 1-to-1, so it was like a 2x concentrate, and we dilute it, half coffee, half water, and then ice.
That's about what I'm making, and so yeah, so cool.
But we would do it a 5-pound bag at a time, so it was a lot.
Yeah, well, you were making it for a lot of people too.
Yeah, exactly. But now I make it just for myself that way, not 5 pounds at a time.
Mm-hmm. So we've also talked on the show a little bit about, and it's been a little while since I've brought it up, just because there hasn't been much to talk about. My wife and I are working on our foster license, and I thought it might be interesting to talk about a few things on the show here. I think once we have kids in the house, it's going to be, there's going to be stuff I can share and stuff that I can't. But the certification process, I didn't realize it's actually part of the UW system here. So we're like going back to school remotely is essentially how this works. The class itself is not, I mean, it's not going back to school as you would think of it, but I have to do assignments and I have to pass the class, and it's just, yeah. So, but it is what it is. We've been doing about a module a week. I did 2 modules, not this last week, but the week before, and I got to finish up the last couple assignments on the latest module that I was working on this last week yet. I've got through the end of the day tomorrow, I think, to get that done. So it's been interesting. Some of it's been pretty eye-opening. One of the first modules I did was dealing with development delays and maltreated children, which can be, man, you don't realize just how much effect that, an abused child or neglected child, like not just baggage that they bring with them, but the fact that they just don't develop as much. So you might have like a 7-year-old kid who's at the developmental stage of a 2-year-old. I mean, that's one of the extreme cases that they talked about, but they can be that far delayed and just not be able to function with other kids their age and stuff like that. So depending on the level of neglect or abuse or whatever they're coming out of. So it can be pretty severe in some cases. So
awful.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. We do have a caseworker now, which we didn't before. So that caseworker has been in touch with us on a few things recently, and on the 27th of the month, we will be sitting down and starting our home study, which will take about 3 to 6 months to go through. So, man, if they vetted parents even like a quarter as much as they vet foster parents, gosh, half the people out there wouldn't have kids. Nope, I thought I would give a quick update so you and the listeners kind of knew where we were, and I was kind of hoping to bring you guys along in the process that we're doing, so y'all understand what goes into foster parenting, because I came into it thinking, oh yeah, well we'll just we'll get some kids and it'll be cool. But there is a ton. I mean, you almost become a junior social worker to be able to do it. So there's a lot you got to know about handling kids with developmental delays and stuff like that. So
it's super cool, Mitch. It's I wish more people would do it. It's really important that kids be given the opportunity to thrive, you know, and so many are brought into situations where it's all they can do just to survive, and it's really, it's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, on a more positive note, hopefully it's a more positive note. What did you think of SummerSlam?
Oh, what a transition.
Yeah.
Overall, I actually enjoyed it. There was certain matches that I thought weren't going to be very good that were better than I thought they were. We had 2 huge surprise returns, one that I'm much happier about than the other. And I actually, I overall, I thought it was a really good show. And that's coming from a guy who likes NXT better than the main roster in every possible way. So,
yeah, and I thought that, there were certain matches that were certainly standout matches. Overall, I thought the show was good. So let's talk about the returns real quick. Becky Lynch is back.
Whoa.
So I thought it was kind of a sucky thing to take the belt off of Bianca like that.
Well, yeah, the fact that, and they keep saying it all the time, 26 seconds, 20,
Yeah.
Usually that sort of punishment is reserved for someone who, deserves it.
Yeah.
But I think it works in the sense that they're building towards a match at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And Becky's keeps saying no, and it's just going to get to the point where
last night on SmackDown they confirmed the match.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
I think they went for the, like, if we're going to do the surprise, we're going to go all out and like really surprise people. Yeah, I just really like Becky, and I think that she brings a much needed amount of pull that Bianca will when she's been around longer, because everyone already loves her and she's incredible, right?
Yeah.
But they need someone like Becky as a foil, and with Sasha being out, for whatever reason. Yeah. So you could see why they did it from that standpoint. We can argue all day about should it have been a squash match or not, but we're going to get Becky Bianca too at Extreme Rules, and that's not going to be a squash match.
Right.
And they're building the whole, Bianca getting frustrated, and it's just going to spill over, and, when she goes nuts with a kendo stick on Becky, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So that's my take on it. What do you think?
My personal opinion is it didn't bring Becky Lynch in as a sweet return. She comes back. Oh, cool. Becky's back. She's entertaining. She's fun. Oh, that was a really crappy thing to do, to come in and just like take the belt off of her in 26 seconds. And now I'm not sure how I feel about Becky, and so that it was, I had some mixed feelings about it. What about Brock?
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot to unpack here with Brock.
He's never been a handsome man, but the ponytail and the beard is just, goodness me.
All right, so I don't hate the beard. The ponytail, yeah, I not sure that was a good choice for him. I think it has to play into whatever they're doing with his character, because he obviously they're not playing him like the UFC guy with this comeback. It doesn't.
Well, we haven't seen him in his ring gear yet, so we've only seen him just show up in jeans and a cutoff. And frankly, I don't think he cares. I think he did it just because he wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, he has established throughout his career that he's going to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and he's only going to show up when Vince McMahon drops a big pile of cash in front of him.
Yeah.
He's one of the few people that controls Vince in that sense, which is honestly pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm really not a fan of Brock. I don't like the indestructible guys that come in and just like beat up people. The only time that's satisfying is when you've got the little guy that overcomes it. But even then, it's like, the match with Brock and Cena years ago, that was not a fun match to watch.
Yeah.
Just suplex after suplex, and just watching Cena just get the crap beat out of him was I didn't find that fun, regardless of how I feel about Cena. I didn't think that was fun. So
yeah,
but
no, I'm with you on that. Which is why I like NXT better, because there's not much of that at all.
No, I have really appreciated NXT since I kind of got back into it.
I'm a little nervous about this rebrand that's coming, though, and the fact that all the rumors say that like they're not going to scout the indies anymore, and they're just going to find people that fit the WWE mold and teach them to wrestle. And it's like, oh god,
yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff, but
it makes me sad for
I don't like the graphics at all.
The
graphics that
logo
they've shown so far,
yeah. All right.
We'll see what happens. I'm starting to gain a little bit of respect for AEW, because they're starting to really come through as the scrappy upstarts. A lot of the talent, at least, is the old farts that have been in wrestling forever that are there are kind of, to me, holding it down a little bit. But CM Punk's return so far, even though that they've been like way over capitalizing on it, like he's been on every show and hasn't done anything really yet.
Just talked.
Yeah, just talked. Which I mean, he's a good talker, so it's been fun. But so far, I think it's been a little overplayed with his return. But of course, they've had 2 shows in Chicago now since his return. The other 2 shows were in Milwaukee, so it's been a very like regionally big thing for him. But
well, and they did that on purpose.
oh yeah, for sure. But we'll see. I'm interested to see how the match with Darby Allin turns out at all out. And
oh, is that who he's fighting first?
Yeah, he called him out the first night. He's like, I'm really excited about the hungry talent in AEW, and that's why I'm here, and I'm going to start with Darby.
Oh wow,
yeah. So yeah. Oh, anyway, getting back to SummerSlam, Big E and Baron Corbin. Have you seen the Baron Corbin stuff lately?
You mean Happy Corbin?
Happy Corbin?
Yes, and it's amazing. It's amazing. He's so good at it. He's probably better at this than he was at being Sad Corbin, which he was really good at. He has really grown on me in the last like 6 months.
Like a festering boil.
Yeah, well, like the whole King Corbin thing was so dumb. Like, yeah, they just need to get rid of that character, that like, King Booker, and like just don't stop. King of the Ring tournament, yes, absolutely. Making that person king whoever for the next year, no, so dumb.
I like the concept of acknowledging it for time, but not playing it as like a character.
Exactly. Yeah, you can acknowledge I won that King of the Ring. That means I should get X amount of respect or whatever. Great. But like to your point, making them wear a crown, changing their name to include King, like they're doing with Nakamura. And the only reason it works is because freaking Rick Boogs is the man. He wrestles in a denim singlet.
Yeah. It's the worst ring gear I've seen, but he makes it work somehow.
No, it's Nia Jax has the worst ring gear. That's well established.
Oh no, that 100%.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. And I don't even remember that it's King Nakamura. I'm just like, oh, it's Shinsuke and Boogs. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then McAfee gets on the table and like jam. It is so good. Anyways, I'm happy they're letting him wrestle now.
Good stuff. But
yeah, no, Happy Corbin.
Big E got his Money in the Bank briefcase back. Yes. I think that's the only purpose for that match, outside of trying to sell that he was going to cash in.
Yeah, and I love that they used Vegas as the location where Corbin, struck it rich, and like
it makes no logical sense, really, when you look at it, because okay, maybe he took $100 into a casino and suddenly he's got like a Rolls Royce and a $40,000 watch, and
it was a Bentley, but it's okay.
No, he had a Rolls Royce last night on SmackDown. So
he's bringing different cars. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, but it makes no logical sense. How would you make that much money that quickly? So I'm waiting for the turn where he's like, "Oh, I spent it all," and now he's broke again.
Yeah, but you're thinking too hard about it.
I am. That's what I do.
His wife took him back because he has money again.
Yeah, it's like you really sure that that's what you want? And you lose it all again, and you lose her again. All right, so let's move on to the Raw Tag Team match. RK Bro wins the. That was fun. Have you seen anything since then with that?
No, I haven't watched Raw since SummerSlam.
Yeah, so there was the moment that you talked about where like Randy was playing it straight. I honestly think that Riddle cracks Randy up.
Oh yeah, I think
because he stands there and he tries to be straight. But every so often you see him crack up and like go along with it because he just can't keep a straight face with all the crazy stuff that Riddle's doing in the ring. So his just like meandering stories about just unrelated stuff. It's genius. It's good stuff. And to watch Randy just stand there and be like, okay, Okay. And all of a sudden you just start to see the look in his eyes like, I can't hold this in anymore. This is too funny.
I'm glad that they put the belts on them. It was good.
Yeah. And they're actually starting to get a little bit of traction against Amos, which I think is good. Because like I said on the last episode, it just doesn't make sense. Attack the legs. You take the guy out. You know, it's a tried and true like technique for taking out the big guy.
Yeah, sweep the leg, man.
You know, what's never worked is hitting him in the chest. So why do you keep hitting him in the chest? So we'll make a really quick stop on the Alexa Eva Marie match. It was fun. It was short. It's what it needed to be, and it forced the breakup of Eva Marie and Doudrop, and spiraled into a match between the two of them that ended unsatisfactory. So it is what it is. It did its job.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. Sheamus and Damian Priest. Priest takes the title.
Yeah, that was pretty good. What I remember.
Mm-hmm. Ripped off Sheamus's face mask and punched him in the face.
Yeah, and I'm glad they put the belt on Priest. He needed something.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a good run for him as long as they let him go for a while. So, just an aside, I worked with a guy that used to wrestle in the Puerto Rican circuit. Really? And I think he's made the comment that he knows some of these guys. So, I thought that was interesting. He's not working at our store anymore. He moved to another store, but yeah, he wrestled down there, and then he was a manager for a while and worked with the promotion, and then he moved to the States. So
interesting.
He had some interesting stories. But
I
wouldn't be surprised if he knew Damian. The Usos and the Mysterios. It's going the way that I thought it would.
Yeah, but it's not. So it is, but not. I thought Dominic would turn on his dad, but Ray is like, "Oh, I'm backing off now." But like, he's still like being a helicopter dad. Like, he'll come out on the ramp, you know, and it's
yeah. So he's cost him 2 matches now,
right? So maybe they're just prolonging the fact that Dominic's just gonna like lose it and flip out on his dad. Mm-hmm. I thought that would happen at SummerSlam because of the size of the stage. You know what I mean?
Maybe they'll build it for Extreme Rules.
Well, they're gonna have to do it pretty fast because isn't Extreme Rules in like a week or two?
No, 26th.
Oh, at the end of the month. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So they got a few weeks to build that. He loses a couple more matches, gets frustrated with Ray. I mean, they could turn it fast enough for him to fight Ray at Extreme Rules, but I think it's more likely that he gets booked in a big match and tells Ray to stay backstage. He doesn't want him out there, and then Ray comes down, and then you get the turn. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, that would make sense.
We'll see what happens. It's been a satisfying build at this point.
Dominic would get so much heat from the crowd if he beat up his dad.
Yeah. We talked about Bianca and Becky, Drew and Jinder. Yeah,
I don't understand why this was on the card. Like, they wanted McIntyre on the card. I get it.
They needed a cool down match.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just
that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no disrespect to Jinder. Like, he is a good, big, strong professional wrestler. So is Drew. I just don't care at all about that entire program. And I'm like, not like, they're both good at what they do. Jinder's and he are both ex-WWE champions, you know, and you can argue about the validity of Jinder and it not just being a political thing, you know, to get more viewers from India, but like he did well as the champion in his promos and in his matches. Like, he's For some reason, people give him crap. I don't get it. I just didn't care about this program because it's like they're trying to steal his sword. I just didn't care for the whole program at all.
Yeah. Moving right along, the Raw Women's Championship. Nikki ASH, Charlotte Flair, Rhea
Who
Ripley.
won this one?
Charlotte Flair.
Oh, of course she did.
Yeah,
okay. What is this, like her 35th time?
Something like that. Yeah. She's up in the 70s somewhere. The most decorated women's wrestler in WWE.
Yeah.
This was no surprise.
Yeah, I think I skipped this one too.
Edge and Seth Rollins.
Oh, I liked this one.
It's a good match.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Edge coming out to the Brood
was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. But yeah, that was a good match.
It would have been super cool though if he had Edge or Christian Gangrel come up with him, but they're obviously otherwise engaged in other promotions currently.
Right.
So that wasn't going to happen. That would have been pretty dope for them to make cameos.
Yep. I'm gonna tell you, I think that that I'm liking Christian's work in AEW.
Yeah, he's good.
I think it's. I don't think one of my biggest problems with the WWE, as far as like Raw and SmackDown specifically, is that it's obvious they don't let these guys just do what they want to do, and so the believability of their characters suffers for it because they're not engaged with the characters as much. Then you go to something like AEW where these guys get to like do what they want to do and like flesh out these characters. I mean, Malachi Black, Aleister Black.
Yeah.
His character is so much. I mean, they were starting to go this direction in WWE before he left, but this is like what he should have done. He should have been.
Yeah.
They
screwed up with him on the main roster. He was so good in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got to do more of what he wanted to do, and then they brought him up to the main roster, and he just sat in a dark room and over enunciated, "Fight with me."
Yeah, and was never that impressive. Yeah, it was just never that impressive.
Dude can wrestle though.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's fun.
Very good. He was one of my favorites, and of course, the main roster, they just don't know how to handle good quality NXT characters. It really, which is why I prefer NXT. One of the many reasons.
I mean, quite honestly, AEW is starting to grow on me a little more. I don't know if I said that earlier, but just because these guys are allowed to do what they want to do, like I don't know that I care for what they're doing with Matt Hardy there, but there's some of the other guys. It's like. This is what they should have been doing in WWE. So anyway, moving right along. What's probably was the worst match of the night. Got to guess which one I'm going to next.
No.
Lashley Goldberg.
Oh God, yeah.
Ugh.
I am shocked that they let Goldberg's teenage son get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is a minor.
Yeah.
And I know it was like he just got tossed off of Lashley's back, but I was like, yikes.
Oh, there was a waiver involved, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I know, but like still 17 or 16 or however old he is.
Apparently Goldberg trashed his knee in the match, but they're still playing up that he's going to come back and hurt Lashley. So
don't care.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that's going to happen because they're not. I mean, it's like they're slow burning it because I'm sure they're waiting to see what's going on with his knee. But
yeah, he's going to have to rehab his knee.
Roman Reigns and John Cena.
This was better than I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was a decent match. Yeah,
I actually really enjoyed the match, which I was not anticipating. But when Cena has to put somebody over, he does it well.
Oh yeah,
generally. I thought it was better because it wasn't just spamming finishers. You know what I mean? And
right,
5-move John actually like he got his butt kicked like he said he was going to,
Mhm.
and they teased the whole like the 1, 2, 3 bit and everything, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, I think that was the whole card. Or am I
You are
missing
correct,
anything?
sir.
Yeah. So yeah, fun show. And there's some highlights and some downsides and everything, but it's good. I did not find myself hating it. All right. Well, we're recording on the 4th of September. By the way, tonight is Star Wars night at the Brewers Stadium, and I really wanted to go, but it's just going to be too late at night for us, so we're not. But I could have gotten a Lorenzo Kane bobblehead with him dressed up like a Jedi, but oh well, whatever. But we're recording on the 4th, and we will not record again until, well, it'll be 2 weeks from today. But we're anticipating that the iPhone event will be sometime between now and then. I'm thinking probably the 15th, that Tuesday. So we're going to talk a little bit. We talked a lot on the last episode about some of our predictions for the fall, but a couple of new things that came out. The Apple Watch, I'm super stoked for. This is an upgrade year for me, so I'm excited to get upgraded. And very new design is what's rumored. And what just came out here a couple of days ago was that the Apple Watch bands for the new one may not be compatible with the old ones.
I'm assuming there are people that are upset about this. It doesn't bother me. The fact that they haven't changed yet since the beginning, that's more surprising to me than anything. That they have been able to keep the bands consistent across every single watch they've put out since the inception of the product. But if the rumors are true and the actual, like the fundamental base shape of the watch is going to change, then it makes complete sense to me that the band would require a change as well. So, yeah, like, it doesn't bother me. I can see why people who have invested heavily in a band collection would be upset, but you had to know this was coming at some point. Like, there's just no way it would stay the same forever.
It definitely makes me glad that I didn't invest in the Link bracelet. Yeah, that would have been dumb anyway. But no, I mean, I'm really super interested. I know that there's been a little bit of talk that they might push that back into the October event. It's planned that they're going to be announcing new Macs. But I don't think it makes any sense to do that. I think it makes perfect sense that an iPhone that probably isn't going to see a ton of things new with it, maybe a new color, or I'm hoping colors. I would love to see the rainbow of colors that they did with the iMac come to more than just that line. But we'll see. I would plunk down money for an orange phone. So I love my orange.
So you're not even Dutch.
No, I just like orange. It's good. Of course, they'll have like camera upgrades and different things like that. There's rumors about the ProMotion display.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the 120 hertz.
Which, from what I understand, there's been a few people that I've heard talk about this. It does make quite a difference on the phone. Just in the animations and everything, it just makes everything so much smoother and look nicer. So we'll see what happens, but that'll be cool. But I think with the lack of really huge marquee features that they're going to be unveiling on the iPhone, I think it makes sense to do a huge change in the Apple Watch at the same event. And that way you don't have that was a vanilla event. You kind of dodge that bullet of hey, there wasn't really much going on with the iPhone, but the Apple Watch, did you see that thing?
Yeah, so I wonder though if they would do that, because then it's like, man, the Apple Watch is awesome, but man, this new iPhone's really disappointing. Like, so that's like the other side of that coin, and you can't predict how people are going to react. Yeah. But you have to know that like Apple is like considering, that sort of like, what sort of press do we want about this? And you could be 100% correct. I'm just trying to think from the other side of like, oh man, if the iPhone really like, because Apple loves to speak superlatively about little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make them seem like bigger deals than they are, but everyone knows they do that.
Mm-hmm.
And how long can they really talk about how smooth the animations are? Like I can already hear like Craig's voice. Like I know he probably won't be the one doing it because he's more of a WWDC guy, but I can just hear the promotion display. There's one thing I cannot stand about Tim Cook is the way he says display.
Mm-hmm.
Display. Ugh. Sorry, I had to get that out.
You ruin me so much because now that I watch the events and I'm just like, oh yeah, he does do it that way.
Uh-huh.
It's like it never bothered me before that.
It's been a 10-year burn, man. Of like, just stop saying that word, please.
Anyway, so I don't know that there's a whole lot more to say about it. I'm excited about an always-on display, which I mean, obviously has been on past devices, but what it seems like is probably likely on this Apple Watch is the temperature sensor. I think that's easy enough to build in. There was talk this last week about that they're working on a blood pressure sensor and a glucose sensor. And I don't know how they're going to do all this stuff, but
witchcraft.
Yeah, something like that. But it'll be interesting. We'll see.
They're going to come for your little dog too.
I remained cautiously optimistic.
I'm the one thing that I really would like to see is a new iPad mini. That looks like the iPad Air and iPad Pro, but in the mini form factor, like the rumors are suggesting. But there's no telling when it'll get, if it's September release and October release, right before Christmas release,
I do have a question for you. And this is more of a future aspirational thing. But how would you feel about a folding iPhone?
I mean, if they can do it right, it'd be pretty darn interesting.
Because I mean, we've got the new Z Flip and the Galaxy Fold.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those form factors do you like better? The phone that flips into a tablet, or the phone that just flips in half and becomes a smaller device?
If I were gonna pick one of them, I would pick the phone that turns into a tablet.
Okay. I'm kind of on the other side of that. I like the Z Flip. It harkens back to when I had the flip phones back years ago, and just there's a little bit of nostalgia there, I guess.
Yeah, I remember the Razor that I had. It was glorious.
There was satisfaction to that flip and shut. That click that it made when it flipped shut. Very tactile. So I can see
some plastic slapping together.
I can see the iPhone not making that noise, but with the haptics, and they make that noise. I can see that as an Apple engineering thing. It doesn't actually click, but it makes the clicking sound.
Yeah, talk about over-engineering something.
So what's in your dock?
On my Mac?
On your Mac.
You gonna roast my dock?
Well, I wasn't intending to steal the connected segment, but imitation is the highest form of flattery, right?
This is true. I have a very important question, Mitch.
Yeah. Oh, we should talk position too. Yeah.
No jokes. This is a family show. Yeah. So I on my my MacBook Air, I have my dock on the right side of the screen, and I have it disappear.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I have a smaller screen. On my big 4K display, I keep the dock on the bottom, and it's always up because I have a bajillion pixels. So I'm using my MacBook Air now. So my dock from top to bottom, Finder, Safari,
Okay.
Lightroom Classic, Final Cut, Motion, Logic Pro, Main Stage, Music, Craft, Obsidian, and then I have Moom and Zoom open. So they're Moom and Zoom. that those are currently open. They're not in my dock normally, but they're open. So
Okay.
there. And then I've got the download stack and the trash at the bottom.
You don't have a lot in your dock.
I don't.
No.
I just took a screenshot for
Okay. You're sending me a screenshot so I can look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I should do the same for you.
So yeah, but those are the apps that I use the most, and everything else I just get to by Alfred. Honestly, I use Alfred to open pretty much every app, but the dock is there for easy access.
I didn't grab that in time. Does that save into the Photos app?
Did it save to your desktop?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm willing to. Oh, it is on my desktop. Interesting.
Well, that's a few apps you got there.
Yeah, I like to keep a lot of apps in my and you notice there's a lot of them that are open too.
Yeah.
But let's see. Man, you don't have anything fun I can make fun of you.
Well, they're all,
So does your workflow really combine Craft and Obsidian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I use Craft instead of Apple Notes. So it's just where I, if I got to jot a note down or, whatever, store some information, it goes into Craft, and then Obsidian is all related to like Bible and church stuff.
Well, I have switched around like which position I put the dock in, if it's on the right side, left side, bottom. I know back in the day they used to let you pin it to the corners. So you can't do that anymore. But if you wanted it on the bottom, but you wanted it left justified, it would you could pin it to the left corner, and that way it would just build out from the corner instead of center justified. I don't know that there's any hacks to do that anymore. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, that's I would love that ability to kind of like pin it to the bottom. Or right now I have it on the left hand side on my iMac. On my MacBook, which I have upstairs, so I would have to go get that if I wanted to look at that. But I don't think that should be super different from what I've got in the dock here. But that one I have on the right side, and I don't hide my docks typically, just because I don't know, I just don't run into issues with that. I prefer to have them visible all the time.
So you don't mind not having your app or whatever full screen, like full width? Not
really. Most of the apps that I want to do that with, I just put into full screen.
Oh, okay.
So I just use the spaces instead. But so the reason that I have the dock on the left side on my iMac is because I have my TV, which is up over on the right. I have that as my second monitor. And and I don't always have that TV on. So when you have it on the right side and you have your second monitor, it goes all the way to the right side of the second monitor, and then I can't get to it because I can't see it on the screen. So I moved it to the left side for that reason. This has been a trial for me because most of the time that I've had a Mac, I've always had it on the bottom and just left it on the bottom. But recently I heard a couple episodes of shows where they were talking about this, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself to use it on the side because it does offer more screen real estate, to have it on the side, so you can have your pages taller on the screen and, different things like that. So thought I'd try it and see how that turned out. And so far don't hate it. So I've been sticking with it for a while. But so to go through the apps that are in my dock, Finder, of course, and then I use LaunchBar for like you use Alfred. I use LaunchBar, and unfortunately, LaunchBar you can't take the app out of the dock, so you're kind of stuck with it being in the dock all the time. But that's fine. I've been using that since I started using the Mac, so I'm just used to that always being there. I got Safari next. I have Spark for my email. I like Spark a lot. I've tried a lot of different other email clients, and I just keep coming back to Spark. So,
Yeah, that's what I use on my iPhone and iPad.
mm-hmm. I like the swipe gestures. I think it looks nice. It works well. Got messages next. I had drafts after that. I do have Craft. I use Craft for pretty much all my note taking. I haven't really switched over to Obsidian. Well, all the talk that Federico has about Obsidian just makes me think, gosh, I'm going to have to invest a ton of time to figure this out. And I just, that's not something I really want to spend a lot of time on.
So if you do most of your note taking in Craft, what's drafts for?
Drafts is just quick entry stuff. So, if I need to just like, I heard a quote that I like, I'll throw it into drafts. If I've got just a quick line of text, I throw it into drafts. It's just kind of it's where I store just snippets of text. Where Craft is where I store stuff that requires a little bit more formatting that will handle a little bit more. Like I can save a website there, or I can save an image in there, or I've been using it for taking notes for the classes that my wife and I are doing for foster care. So I can take a screenshot and then grab the screenshot from the corner and just drag it right into the document. And gotcha. I don't even, it's like really quick to take that screenshot and throw it into Craft. So Adobe Audition, because I have always used Adobe Audition for audio editing and love it. And, once they added strip silence to their multi-track, that's the only thing I ever have to use. So I don't use Logic really much at all anymore, unless I'm going to make music, which I don't really do much of. But so Logic is on my iMac, but it's not doesn't make the dock. I've gone back to trying Descript for some of the audio editing that I do, particularly editing podcasts, because I really like the way it works, and you can make your audiograms really easily too. I don't know if you noticed, I threw an audiogram up for the last episode on Instagram, but it makes it really easy to make these really quick little images or little videos of the text with the words, so that if you don't have the audio on, you can still see the words scrolling on the page. I think that works really nice, and Descript makes that really easy. So Forecast, more podcasting stuff for coding my MP3s and adding chapters and chapter art and different things like that. I got Fantastical, Todoist, of course, Logos in there for doing my Bible study. Timular, which we've talked about in the past on the show. Timular actually integrates really well with Toggle for me, and but the difference is Timular offers the little device, the physical device for doing time tracking. And then I've got Toggle right below that. Toggle I've been using a little bit more lately because it's got the Pomodoro timer in it, which has been really, really good for me for doing the foster care training, because it helps me focus on what I'm doing, knowing that I have a break coming up. So maybe I'm just hacking my brain or whatever, but it works for me. So ExpressVPN, because everybody should run a VPN for whatever reason. But the icon that's right below that is for the Mute Me, which I talked about a few episodes back. It's the button that I have for muting audio or muting my mic in Zoom. It works with other clients, but I'm holding it up as best I can, but it's attached to the device. So but that I have the client runs in the dock. Unfortunately, I wish I could disappear that, but it is newer software, so maybe at some point they'll add that as an option.
So yeah, so there's a couple apps that you have in your dock that I'm surprised aren't menu bar.
Okay.
Like the fact that launch bar has to be in your dock. Like Alfred's a menu bar one, so it just sits up in the menu bar. It's never in my dock. So that's interesting at launch bar.
Well, let's take a look in here and see. I'm looking at the because to me it would seem like that should be something that you can do, but I've never seen that in the app. I've looked for it before and haven't been able to find it. Show dock icon. Unclick.
Boom.
Restart. Can I pull it out of the dock now? You heard my whew. I do like my sound effects. So now can I hey, look at that. Sweet. All right, we got rid of that one. Boom. So I don't think that was an option before. So that must be something that they added at some point. So the mute me one is just something I can't get rid of because, yeah, like I said, it's new software, so it's probably something that they just haven't built into the app yet.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it has a. Let me look and see if it even has a menu bar. Oh no, it does. So they could, but of course I got settings in my dock because settings.
The other one that you run Fantastical from your dock. Do you not have the menu bar for that one?
Oh, it's up in my menu bar.
Okay, somewhere. But you keep it in your dock too.
I keep it in the dock. I do the same thing with Todoist. I've got Todoist up in my dock too, or up in my menu bar rather.
Gotcha. Did I tell you that I started using Todoist?
No, you did not. Yeah.
Talk about that another time.
All right. Welcome to the family.
Yeah. It is. I'll just say this real quick. It is so much better than when I used it like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
In every conceivable way.
I love it. It's the first app that I've used that allows me to just import a template in and just boom, it's right there. Everything's loaded in. With OmniFocus, I would have to import the template and then add all my due dates and all that kind of stuff after that. And that was just a pain in the butt. So it's like magic now, being able to import templates and stuff. And then right past the little recents line, these are apps that I currently have open. I've got Google Chrome open because that's where I always use Chrome for the show notes, or not the show notes, but the show doc that we have. I've got music open because I was listening to music the other day and haven't shut it. Preview was something I had. Well, this was all stuff when I was working on foster care stuff that I had open. So music, I had preview open. Of course, we're on a Zoom call, so I have to have Zoom open. And then I was messing around with Loopback before we recorded today because I was trying to figure out a way to pipe some audio through so that you could hear it, and then I ended up not using it. So whichever. So there's a few of those apps that I could close right now, but then I've always been a big one to put folders in the dock, because there's certain folders that I just have to get to all the time that I use a lot. So I could probably get rid of that one. But I have a folder that's active projects. Which, like I said, I don't know that this is actually, I don't really use it anymore. Let's pull that out. But I have Dropbox and I've got downloads, those two folders, because I tend to end up having to go into those folders a lot for stuff. And then, of course, there's trash at the bottom, so which needs to be emptied. But
there you have it.
But yeah, so nothing super exciting and nothing that we probably could make fun of each other about. But yeah. So I did notice that with you said you had the downloads folder. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Down by your trash.
Yeah, it's shown as a stack, and yours is shown as a folder.
Yeah. Any reason why you show it as a stack?
I think that's just the default option.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
So if you click on that, do you get that silly little fan?
No, it comes out in like a
You got it on the grid?
pop-up square. Yeah, the grid.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I cannot stand that little. When I first started on the Mac, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. It looks like a little fan." And then it's like a few months later, I'm like, "That's dumb. I like the grid better." The grid actually works really nice for navigating through your folders and stuff like that. So, like with Dropbox, there's very seldom is there anything in drop like the main Dropbox folder that I want to get into. It's usually a folder in that folder that I need to get into.
Yeah,
So
I don't think that fan thing is an option anymore. There's only grid or list. I think they just got
maybe
rid
it
of it.
isn't. Yeah, I think you might be right. What's list look like?
Just looks like a list.
Oh, that's awful. Well, when the list takes up the whole page.
Oh no, you can. If you go down to the options, fan is still there. Okay, so you can still do it. Yeah, it's just hiding.
Okay. I won't options. Oh, I don't see that with options. Yeah, maybe it's because that folder is really full. Let me check and see if there's. Oh, maybe it's with stacks. Oh, I'm still not seeing it. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so I usually like having the folder icon in there just because it's a folder, and that's to me that's what folders should look like. So what is nice is, and I don't know if I've been able to do this for a while because the last couple times I tried this it just didn't work, but changing the folder icon to something else, I used to be able to do that a lot in Mac OS, and it seems like the last couple of updates it's been like really kind of hit and miss whether it works. Do you know how to do that?
Nope.
So if you want to go in and change a folder icon, you go into Finder, and let's say I'm going to go into the Dropbox folder and select. Let's say I'm going to select the inner dialog folder. So you select the folder, and then you right click or command click on it and select Get Info. And then when the info pane comes up, the folder icon that's in the upper left hand corner, if you click on that, you see that it highlights. Mm-hmm. You can drag images onto that, and it's supposed to change the folder to a different image. Oh, it has to be formatted properly, so it has to be a .icn, or there's little apps that you can download that will convert your JPEGs and PNGs to that format. But once it's converted into that format, you can just drag that onto that folder, and it'll change the folder image. So,
learning new things today.
Yeah. So, and like I said, it's been kind of hit and miss. The last few times I've tried it, it worked one time and then didn't work the next time, but yeah. So there is actual customization in Mac OS. It's just you got to dig deep for it. So the only reason I used to do it is because I put the icon, or I put those folders in my dock like that, and then I wanted the folders to look different. So I would create little folder icons, little PNGs that look like little folders with the logo that I wanted on the folder, and then I would add that to, or I would change the folder to look like that, and then put it into the dock so that I could always look at that and go, oh, well, that's my inner dialog folder. So I could just like go in there, and yeah. So it just made it easier to identify what the folders were by site. So
seems like a lot of work.
Sometimes when you got the time on your hands and you want to and you want to do something, and it's the geek in me. You do this stuff just to be able to say you can do this stuff sometimes. and that's fun. Like finding a challenge and overcoming the challenge.
Very good.
All right. So cool. Well, what's delighting you today, Cam?
I think I'm going to go simple and just say the weather. It's very pleasant these last few days. Last week, not so much. Last week was horrendous. 100% humidity, and temperatures in the 90s. So the feels like was like 108, whatever, the fake temperature. But, in the 90s with 100% humidity for like 5 straight days. Not a fan. Now it's like the lows are in the 50s and 60s and the highs are in the 70s. It's like, I know summer's going to come back for like a couple days in, a week or two, just because there's always like in the Midwest, like one last push of like, no, it must be hot, or the winter, no, it must be cold, one more week in April. But we are turning the corner towards autumn, and that just makes me very happy.
I almost picked this as an option for this segment this week. Yeah, because I am so ready for fall.
Yeah, I grilled up a steak last night, ate dinner on my patio, like just enjoyed being outside for like an hour and a half after work. It was amazing.
The high here yesterday was 63 degrees.
Holy cow.
It
was like 79 here.
It was a good day. I wore a sweatshirt at work for like half my shift yesterday. It was good. Yeah.
It's not like that quite yet down here.
I was sweatshirt weather today, man. 65 today. It was good. So I think it's not 65 out there right now. Oh no, I take that back. It's 65 out there right now with the high of 70. So it's a good day. A little rain in the forecast this morning. Don't have to mow my lawn. Perfect. So, all right. Well, what's delighting me today?
Yes, do tell.
So we've talked about Project 86 before on the show. It's been a while, but they are in the process. I say they, but it's mostly Andrew, the lead singer, is in the process of funding the album, the new album, and the new album is going to be the last album. They're calling it the final chapter. Whether that'll be the actual name of the album or not, I'm not sure, but that's the working title right now. And they last time I looked into it, they were in the 90% funded. So they figured by the end of next week, they should be at 100. They've been giving stuff away. They've got a Patreon that's helping to fund the new album, which I subscribe to. They also have it's like a Kickstarter. I'm not sure if it's on Kickstarter. I think it's on probably another page that is if you just wanted to go and throw some money at them and to help fund the album. And there are reward levels. So the reward level that I'm at will get me the new album when it comes out. There's been a bunch of perks with being on the Patreon. I should be receiving my demos for their Truthless Heroes album, which was their third album. So he's offering up the original demos for that. As he puts it, he liked the demos better than the way the CD turned out. So, he actually digitized and sent out PDFs of the entire notebook that he had for the Truthless Heroes album. So it's kind of interesting to go through and like read what some of the original lyrics were going to be on the albums, or what he was workshopping for the lyrics and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to see like how these songs evolved from what he originally wanted to write for these songs and how they kind of evolved into what they became. So so it's interesting. I haven't read through the whole book yet, but it looks like some of the stuff that I looked at initially was interesting. So, but that's been fun. And he's been giving away record players and what's going to be the first print vinyls that
cool.
they'll have for the album. They've been giving away merch and stuff like that. So it's been pretty neat. And I think the level that I am at too includes a T-shirt when they print them. So yeah, so I'm really excited about it. I've really been enjoying the podcast that he's been doing with the Patreon.
Oh man, he's going all in.
He's been releasing 2 a week, and they're just monologues up to this point. But he did say that he's going to have some guys come on the show at some point to discuss the album when they get to the point of like there's been a lot of movement on the album. Apparently they've written a lot already, but there hasn't been a ton to share yet. So, but what he's been doing on the podcast is because it's the final campaign, he's taking a retrospective look on the band and talking about how they met, what went into the building of the band, the turmoil that was in the band for years, where things went, how things started. He's gone through each album and talked about the creative behind those albums, what was going on personally and professionally during those albums, some of the lyrics, like where the lyrics were coming from. It's been a really interesting ride so far, because being that, like, I would say they were my band, or they are my band. I've enjoyed Project 86 ever since I saw them for the first time in '98, and been to at least 3 of their shows. And it's been good. I really like them. The interesting thing to find out was all the stories behind what was going on with their management, with when they were building towards becoming a mainstream band, and how they were on the verge of like really getting big, and then got slapped down. And like I don't want to speak for Andrew, but he's been pretty clear that between POD and their management, they had the same management as POD, that they always got pegged as like POD Junior, and never, like, they sold more merch than POD at their shows. They would do the shows with POD headlining, and they'd have like large masses of people leave after the Project 86 was done, and wouldn't stick around for POD. And there was pretty much the guys in POD have admitted that they told management to keep Project 86 down. Like, they didn't want them getting bigger because they were threatened by them. And
messed up.
The thing of it is a Christian music industry is still the music industry, and it's still cutthroat. And the Christian label on it is, for the most part, especially in those circles, is a marketing tool. It's a marketing gimmick. And so there were so much, I mean, it's not that these guys aren't Christians, but, Andrew talks so much about how having the Christian stamp on their band limited them to what they could do. They were all lined up to go on tour with Marilyn Manson, and no joke. And Marilyn Manson's management called them like a week or 2 before they were to leave on the tour, and said, "Oh, by the way, Marilyn found out that you were a Christian band, and he's eliminating you from the tour." And at the time, they were just like, that's not what we want. We don't want to be pegged as a Christian band. We knew that tour was going to be a rough tour for us, but it was going to be really good for getting ourselves out there to the people that we want to get ourselves out there to. And once Marilyn found out that they were a Christian band, he canceled them from the tour. So, it was stuff like that, that just kind of kept them from getting bigger than they were. And so, and he admits, this, God worked this all out to be the way it was supposed to be. And even though, like, fleshly wise, he has regrets and wishes things would have turned out better, he knows in his heart that it turned it out the way it was supposed to. So he's not he's not upset, and he's like, he doesn't try to have regrets about it, but it is what it is. So,
Yeah.
but it's been a really cool journey to go through and listen to him as he's walking through the different albums and talking about the other band members. And there was a breakup midway through. The three band members left, and he brought in new guys, and there was a transitional period over about 2-3 albums where they were, the drummer left, and then the guitarist left, and then the bassist left, and how they, he was bringing in new guys to fill those roles. And it's really interesting. Just, it wasn't even politics. He tells the stories way better than I am, so I'm not gonna go on to tell his story. That, and it's behind a paywall, so he'd really appreciate the financing or the funding. So I won't go into it in depth, but it's been a really cool journey to go through and listen to the story and get to know him better, which, for better or for worse, I've gotten to know him a little bit better through the podcast too. So it's been good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So, and I think the Patreon is where I would fund it, because you get the podcast with it, which is, I think, the meat of what I'm appreciating about it. And it starts at $10. I'm at the silver level for $25, just because I could get the to that $50 level of the funding, which, in a couple of months, which is where I wanted to be, because I got the shirt with it, and I got the album and stuff. I think you just get the album at the $10 level. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it's been fun, and I'll probably back down here now to like the $10 level, now that I've got the amount of money into the campaign that I needed to get to the level that I wanted to get to, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of hoping that he offers a cheaper level. $10 a month per podcast is a bit excessive, but it's been a fun podcast to listen to. So
sweet.
But yeah. So check out the Project 86, the final chapter campaign on Patreon.
It's taking everything within me not to start singing Final Countdown.
I think we're done. All right. Well, if you're listening to the show and you've just discovered us and you're like, man, I'd like to know more about these guys, you can check us out at innerdialogue.show. Dude, if I set up a blog page on there, do you think you and I would like put some stuff up there?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know if I would do a whole lot there, but I was thinking about that, because, really you just go up there and our podcasts are up there, which, is the main draw, but we have the ability to put more stuff up there with the subscription. So, we could do that. It'd be fun. So anyway,
more hashtag content.
Sure. Mm-hmm. But you can check us out at innerdialogue.show. You can catch us up on Twitter. I'm at Mitch Craig.
I'm at Cam Brennan.
And if you have questions or comments, feel free to hit us up there. We also are on Instagram. I'm Radio Mitch on Instagram.
I'm Cam Brennan.
He's Cam Brennan everywhere. That, I don't know. The listeners probably get sick of that joke, but I love it every time.
Yes, I am me everywhere. I encompass and engulf.
Yep. And if you are a subscriber to the show, if you are a member of our illustrious membership, the after show will be coming up in just a little bit.
I don't even know what you mean by that.
We don't have a membership.
I know.
Yeah.
We don't. That's okay.
If you'd give us $5 a month, I would make a membership so that you could subscribe. Yeah. I don't know if anybody wants that.
Yeah, let's not put the cart before the horse, or whatever this, however that goes.
So, all right. Well, that's all I've got. You good, man? You want to share anything?
Yes.
with
yeah. Oh, just go blue. That's all.
Go blue.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
They're
right on.
Currently playing Western Michigan, so I'm excited to go watch the game.
Yep. And my Brewers had a great series against the Giants over the week this last week, but then they got like trounced by the Cardinals last night. So,
That's unfortunate.
yeah, but they're doing really well. They're in the top 3 teams in the league right now. So I'm excited to see where they go from here. So October is going to be a fun month.
Indeed.
But, all right. Well, let's hang her up there. Have a good week, man.